Boom. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Thursday, Friday Eve. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, B. Brooks off. He'll be back with us tomorrow. Will Barrett. All right. So I was watching this today, Derek.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. I really enjoy the show.
I do
generally. I think they do an excellent job. Our buddy, Bill Henschel, is one of the producers there. So and having worked with Bill, we know what a good job he does, both of us, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm watching a segment that Peter Schrager, who is, he's also an insider on Fox, if you watch their pregame coverage and whatnot. So anyway, he's doing this whole elaborate, wait till you see, I got something, with this matchup with the Eagles and the 49ers. And I'm like, what's he going to tell us? Something about the offensive, whatever. So, I'm cynically like waiting. So the piece, he comes up with the piece, and damn if he didn't hit me with something I wasn't expecting. I give him props. Right. Okay. So he does this whole thing, this elaborate setup, and then it's basically there's two assistant coaches on the Eagles staff. Okay. One named DK McDonald and one named Tyler Scudder. Mm-hmm. Now, full disclosure, I had never heard of either one of these two guys.
Okay.
Right? Okay. They're defensive backs coaches. Little did I know that both of these guys had coached at Iowa State while Brock Purdy was at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Okay. So his point is, who knows the tendencies of Brock Purdy better than both of these two guys who were on the opposing side of the ball going against him in practice every day, saw him play all of his games at Iowa State. He started 48 games, I believe, at Iowa State, et cetera. And I think to myself, you know what? Kind of an interesting angle right there. It's really different. Now, ultimately, you still got to go out and make plays, and he's got to make plays, and you can tell people about tendencies all you want, and blah, blah, blah. I get it. He's a different player than he was at Iowa State. But it's nice having a little inside information there, Derek.
Well, we know coaches will call their other friends in the fraternity to get information on players, and you're right. When you've spent 4 years with a guy, you do know something about him. Sometimes it's something as simple as watch his foot placement and help you determine a pass from a run. Watch how he sets himself up. Watch which way sometimes he may give away which receiver he's going to by looking at that person a little bit more than others. Now, I guarantee you, Kyle Shanahan being the quarterback guru that he is, they've worked on some of these little things that try to help. But you're right. Any and every little advantage you can get, you utilize that to the fullest. Mm-hmm. Does he shy away from this? If you blitz him heavy, does he get rattled? All these little things, man. In a game like this, it's inside information. A lot of times is better than just putting together a game plan against somebody. I hope it works out to their favor, But I want to see when it comes to a game like this, and I think the biggest key is you have an experienced quarterback who was an MVP candidate versus a guy who was Mr. Relevant and who's just caught lightning in a bottle based on all the talent around him. Right. And plus this game is in Philadelphia, and we talked about how this kid's only played 2 games on the road, no East Coast games, so on and so forth. That could come into play. The crowd noise could come into a play. I think it will come down to execution. Execution on both sides of the ball. Can we keep the defense moving backwards? Can we keep them guessing? Can we avoid the 3 and outs? The longer we're on the field, the longer they are not on the field offensively. Who takes the advantage of that? Protect the football in a game of this magnitude. Protect the football at all costs. And sometimes you're going to have to throw a ball away instead of trying to force an issue. Throw a ball away to live to play another day. Don't think you have to make this super heroic play right now. Don't give – and the momentum shift in this game is huge. The more we have the momentum, the more they don't. Don't give them one iota of momentum. We have to demoralize them. We have to get inside their heads. And for as many accolades as we've generated on our side, so have they.
Right.
We're number 1 in sacks. We're number 5 in this, number 4 in this. They won 12 in a row. Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, all right. They're considered one of the most physical teams on the planet. We've got to take those things away from them. We've got to take that winning streak, obviously. If not, we're going home. We've got to show them that we're just as physical as they are. We understand they've got as many turnovers as we do. We have to make sure in our backyard we get more turnovers than we give away. We have to. All these little things come into play. And here I go again, acting like Rob Ellis. I was about to let the words slip out of my mouth. I cannot wait to see what could be an epic showdown. But I'm at peace right now. Here today, I'm at peace. The game will get here soon enough. 4 days is not that far away. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days is not that far away. I'm going to control
3 days.
What's the day? Thursday?
Yeah.
But the day was Wednesday. Dang it.
No, man, geez, don't do that to me. It's 3 days, not 4. I don't need 4 days. I was at 4 days yesterday, man.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? 3 days, look, Rob, 3 days away is nothing.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're at 70, almost 74 hours coming up at 1 o'clock.
See, you had to put that in there, didn't you? You just see, it looked better when it's 3 days. When you start talking hours, that's when you get the juices ramped. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right. So here's the question. So I thought that was a cool thing, but from Schrager that he threw out there.
That's great.
Yeah. Look, the pressure question I have for you. Who has more pressure on them, Sirianni or Shanahan? Let me lay out both cases.
Okay.
Sirianni wins the most games in football, is essentially the number 1 overall seed. Okay.
Yep.
Shanahan has been to a Super Bowl as a head coach, has been to a Super Bowl as a coordinator in an epic collapse by his team, by the way, in Atlanta. Has been to championships game, has been close, is my point, a bunch of times. I think everybody respects what kind of coach he is, but eventually you keep getting close, you get a label put on you. I don't think he's there yet.
Yes.
Okay. But I think you start to get a label put on you. Sirianni, they're going to look at it and say, 14 wins, man, number 1 overall seed. You like to strut. You like to pose a little bit. You like the mean mug a little bit in front of the camera. You're wearing the chain in the locker room and all that. I view that stuff as fun. I view it as genuine who he is, but people on the outside don't like that.
Yeah.
So the question I have is, and they're home, by the way, the Eagles, which coach has more pressure on them?
When you presented that question before the break, I saw a lot of people in the chat automatically saying Shanahan. I disagree. I think by far it's Sirianni. And here's why. Your general manager assembled an all-star roster. He kept adding to it during the season. He brought in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh to shore up the defense. Okay. You got in all these frontline players on 1-year contracts, not secondary players, but frontline players. You are in the top 5 in all these categories across the board. Your team has the best record along with Kansas City in pro football. You have this game in your backyard, okay? You're not supposed to lose this game. You're as healthy as anybody, any of the 4 teams still standing. You're as healthy as anybody out there, and there's a possibility you may get the missing link back of Avonte Maddox. With or without Maddox, you're still a complete team without him.
Yeah, you're still healthier probably than anybody still standing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You cannot lose this game in your backyard with this roster. You have a quarterback who's been talked about as the MVP candidate since October. You have 3 primetime receivers. You have arguably the best offensive line in the game. You have the deepest rotation on the defensive front, and you had 70 quarterback sacks. You almost broke the all-time NFL record for quarterback sacks. You have 2 Pro Bowlers at corner. You have another guy who finished tied for the most interceptions in the league on the back end who's back healthy now. You are a much deeper and versatile team than the teams coming in here, even though they're riding that 12-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. I think, and it's, you can't emphasize it enough, it's in your backyard. Mm-hmm. I think by far there's more pressure on Sirianni because with Shanahan, as well as they've played, right now Shanahan's playing with house money.
Yep.
He's playing with a quarterback, which is a nice story, but he was your 3rd quarterback. You were down to the last guy left that you could pick from outside of bringing in a free agent off the street to quarterback this team. And you've done an incredible job. And yes, you've been to the big show before and you botched it. But you can walk away saying, well, we went as far as we could with this Brock Purdy. He had a phenomenal season. He's in the mix next year to be a starting quarterback, even though Trey Lance is coming back. But you know what? We're playing with house money.
Yep.
So I think by far Sirianni has more pressure on him because of everything I just said.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll throw in there with this isn't as much outside pressure, because I don't know that the outside people are quite as aware of this as we are in the fishbowl, so to speak. But we know that they're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts this offseason.
Absolutely.
Which means you're going to be forced to let some really quality talent walk. It's just the way it's going to work.
Absolutely.
So that makes this year all the more critical for them to win a Super Bowl, considering, not to say the Eagles can't draft well and make up for it and all that, but you got to take care of it now, Derek. So I'm with you. I would go Sirianni. I will say, fair or not, like if Shanahan keeps getting like to the doorstep here, he's going to start getting that label. It's not right, but it is what it is. But I would definitely say it's on Sirianni.
See, I would also say, though, in this case, this one particular case, if Shanahan got to the Super Bowl with this rookie quarterback, he still has a built-in excuse that, hey, this kid caught lightning in a bottle for us. He did everything possible. But, hey, you're playing Joe Burrow, who was the Super Bowl runner-up last year. They came within 3 points of winning it all and shocked the world because nobody thought Cincinnati would get there in the first place. Or you're playing Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably the best quarterback in the game today. He is the best magician in the game today. And that team has shown that this offense was bigger than Tyreek Hill. So, there's a built-in excuse for him there, in that regard. Now, if he was playing with Jimmy Garoppolo, even if he was playing with his first-round pick, Trey Lance, you could say, you know what? All right, Kyle, this is the second time you've gone to the big show and you've had all your pieces in place and you choked. You're right. You start getting that label. Yep. But see, this kid, Brock Purdy, buys him. And that's with I would say this about any team. I would say this about the Eagles also. If they were playing with a wonder kid who came from out of nowhere, you have a built-in excuse if you fail short of that final destination of hoisting that Lombardi trophy, because this kid, he gave you more than you ever thought he would, but he just wasn't ready for this one big moment. He just fell a little bit short.
Well, even Derek, we like to draw these. I do it too. The comparisons to 2017. Let's say Doug Peterson, the game is a toe-to-toe battle like it was with the Patriots, and you come up on the short end of it. You're the one who loses 41-33 or whatever, right?
Yep.
Nobody is saying, oh my God, Doug Peterson, what a choke job. He's there with a backup quarterback.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and then you double down on it with Shanahan because he's got a rookie. It's not like, Vic Foles had been around for a while.
Exactly.
So, I would definitely, I think there's a case to be made for Shanahan, but it's absolutely on Sirianni. 100%.
Oh, there's no question. And you know what? Go back to the game's Nick Foles quarterback. If somehow, some way, they would have lost that game against the Patriots, you know who they got to blame for that? The defense and
Schwartz.
The defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Schwartz would have got killed. Yep.
You let. Now, first of all, they would have said, well, you know what? You were playing the evil empire. You know what they do in Super Bowls. Number two, that man had close to 500 yards passing by the end of the third quarter.
They didn't punt.
By the end of the third quarter. Are you kidding me?
There's one punt in the game, and it was the Eagles. That was it.
So, Eagles fans would have been disappointed. They would have voiced their opinion, their displeasure, understandable. But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, hey, man, we got to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought that would have happened.
Yeah.
And Nick Foles threw for 300-something yards.
Oh, he was incredible. Yeah.
You can't ask for anything more.
Eagles had over 400 yards of total.
Yes.
It's not like the Eagles didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, they were up and down the field, too. They scored 41 points.
Yes. You can. So if they'd have lost that game like 42-41, because I said it then live on air, and I will stand here and say it again today. If Brandon Graham does not make that strip sack, I truly believe Brady would have taken him down the field, scored, and they would have got – you know what? When you look at the Patriots when they were in the height of all this winning, they were head and shoulders the best team on the planet in terms of getting two-point conversions. They were the most creative. I truly believe they were down by 8 points. I truly believe they would have gone down and scored and got 2 points and probably sent that game to overtime.
I agree with you.
No question about it.
I agree with you. Look, I expected it to happen on that last drive. Until that ball hit the ground and there wasn't a flag, there was a piece of me that's saying, this is Brady. Gronk's going to come down with that ball, and then we're in a – can you imagine how nerve-wracking that would have been for Eagles fans had they gotten the touchdown as the Patriots are lining up to go for two there to tie that thing?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm serious, man. People would have just
lost their minds.
Melted away, man. Yeah.
The thing that killed me the most about that is from the mid-third quarter on to the end of that game was how wide open Patriots receivers were in the middle of the field.
Big time.
I mean, there's nobody within 5 to 8
Nope.
yards of him in the middle of the field, and Brady just kept hitting him and kept hitting him.
And
yes,
and, you know,
and Edelman and all these guys.
Yeah, that whole crew. Yeah,
you know, and Schwartz made no adjustments to take away anything in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and that's why look, Doug coached such a good game, knowing like going forward on 4th down from his own 45. He couldn't give the ball back to Brady. He would have scored. He knew it.
There's no question.
He knew it. He went for it. That's why you don't kick a field goal when they did the Philly special.
No.
He coached all out, which he had to do. And if he didn't, they would have lost that game.
There's no question. There's no question.
All right. So I think we're both agreed that it would definitely be Sirianni over Shanahan.
Yeah.
Now, this one may seem like more like a landslide, but I'll explain where I'm going with this. Hurts or Purdy, more pressure? Now, the obvious answer is Hurts, right? Because Purdy's a rookie and nobody expected anything. What I mean by the pressure part of it, I wonder if this is finally the game where he's in a hostile environment, on the road, different time zone, playoff game, maybe the magnitude of the moment dawns on him to some extent. He's going against the best pass rush that he's faced. I wonder if the heat gets to him. Like, I think ultimately there's way more pressure on Hurts pre-game going in terms of expectations. But I wonder if the game itself, finally you see that rookie for the first time all season.
That's a valid point, but I will say I think there's more pressure on Hurts because of what he's done all season long.
Yeah.
He can control a game by himself. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. You know, he can beat you with his legs as well as his arm. The full complement of Jalen Hurts will be under the microscope against the number 1 defense in the league, more so. Those of us, and when I say us, I mean national as well as local, those of us on the outside looking in believe this Eagles' ferocious pass rush will be able to rattle Purdy and make him look like a rookie to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts, because he's been talked about and would have been even more so had he not lost those 2 games in the conversation of MVP, because of what we've seen him do. He's rushed for 100.
I'm here. Derek, you here?
What happened?
I don't know, man.
What the heck happened?
You were in mid-sentence and everything just went kablooey. I don't know, but we're back, I think. Are we here? Yes.
Did you drop also?
I dropped, or we both dropped, or whatever. I guess we're back.
I was looking at my screen and I didn't see you either on the screen. I was like,
yeah, I wasn't sure if it was you or me.
I didn't touch anything. Somebody said, "What did you push, D-Gun?" I didn't touch anything.
I'm blaming you, Gun. No, I don't know. No, it wasn't any. It was just
Kevin Savard said both of us were gone.
Weird glitchy things, but we're here. We're here.
Two empty windows. I didn't touch anything. Did you touch something, Rob?
I swear to God, I didn't. I was engaged in what you were saying here, man. I would. Yeah,
I forgot where I was.
All right. Last thing, I brought this up just to get it back to kind of where we're here. But so the Eagles go for 268 against the Giants, 157 yards. This is remarkable to me about how good this offensive line is. Listen to this. So the 268 yards that they rushed for against the Giants, 157 yards before contact, Derek.
That's crazy.
And to double down on that, the average yard per attempt before contact, 3.57.
That's unbelievable.
These dudes are monsters on this offensive line.
Yes, they're mauling people. They're moving people. Their trap blocking scheme, and they run like a zone blocking scheme, but their trap blocking scheme is unbelievable. When you look at how many times you see a guard or a tackle pulling, or you see a tight end coming across this way, and nobody can stop it. Everybody's studied the film. Everybody's looked at it, yet nobody can still stop it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they can have I think they can pick up chunks of real estate like that against its 49ers front.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as consistently.
No, look, this is a great run defense.
Yeah.
This is the real clash of the Titans here, man.
Yeah, you know, DeMeco Ryans, one thing about DeMeco Ryans, he is great at in-game adjustments. He is so good at in-game adjustments.
Yeah, he really is.
Now they'll hit the 49ers for a big one, but at some point, DeMeco's going to squeeze those windows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when he squeezes those windows, you've got to quickly find that other advantage. Are they bringing more people down in the box? You've got the one-on-one matchups against their average corners that you want. You've got to make them pay. Every time they adjust, you've got to counter adjust as well. But I do expect them to be able to hit the 49ers. If they can't run on this 49ers defense, Rob, it's going to be a long day.
I agree. Yeah, they end up becoming one-dimensional here, and then you're asking Bosa to just tee off if Jalen Hurts is dropping back 45 times. Then you're begging for it. You're begging for problems.
I don't think Mulata cannot handle Bosa. If somehow the 49ers can force the Eagles to pass, I don't think he can handle Bosa all by himself.
And you're also you're asking a lot of Lane Johnson, man, to be in pass block against either Bosa or somebody else that many times with that injury.
Right.
You're playing with fire there, I think. So
I have no question.
Stay with it. Stay with the run game. Stay focused on the run game, and don't give up on it early if you're not, like we talk about all the time, ripping off big chunks of yards. All right. So when we come back, Derek, we did it last week for the Giants game. We're going to do it again for this week. I'm going to throw over under. These are not Vegas over unders. These are Ellis over unders. All right. I'm going to hit you with. I have a bunch. I think 12 for the Eagles. No, more than that. Anyway, I have a lot for the Eagles.
Well, okay.
And I have a bunch for the 49ers. I'll give you a sampling of what we're going to do when we get back. So Jalen Hurts passing yards, Jalen Hurts rushing yards, over under 4.5 total sacks for the Eagles. Just think on these things. We're going to dig into it. I got 49ers ones as well for you when we come back. So we're going to do all of that in a second. 1:30, Keith Pompey from the Philadelphia Inquirer. We'll talk about that Sixers win over the Nets and Ben Simmons returning in the hostile environment last night. And then at 2:00, former Eagles safety, now turned Eagles and NFL analyst, Quentin Michael. So we'll do all those things when we return. Don't go anywhere. He's D Gunn. Barrett's off today. I am Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, time to tell you about Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration. If you have a home, you have a business, you have a property that you may own, and you've gone through the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, and even if you haven't yet, take down this information because Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist you. I've gone through it on a Saturday, which can be tough sometimes to get people out to help you. Not the case. Like I said, they're on standby waiting for your call. They came out to my parents' house. They cleaned it up. The crew was professional. The price was right. Could not have been a better experience, and it was a massive relief. Pro Action Restoration is licensed, bonded, and fully insured, and they've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So could be water, could be smoke, could be fire, you name it, mold damage, mold remediation. They can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.